to a new month for Book of the Month. March just dropped, so I'm gonna go through those and maybe pick a book, maybe skip like I did for February. We will see. So there's 5 hardcover selections. This is the first one. Oh, wait. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. Okay, click on it, not put it in my box. Okay. So, Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. It's a thriller. The cover looks interesting. It's kind of tripping me out because it kind of seems like that's her back, but then her back just goes forever. I don't know. Okay, the angle looks a little weird. Let's see. Quick take. You'll lose count of all the lies told in this suspenseful story about a woman who infiltrates a wealthy couple's home. Fast read. That's nice. Psychological. Love that. Reliable narrator and multiple viewpoints. Sloane Caraway is a liar. Harmless lies mostly to make her self-proclaimed sad little life a bit more interesting. So when Sloane sees a young girl in tears at a park one afternoon, she can't help herself. She tells the girl's very attractive dad she's a nurse and helps him pull a bee stinger from the girl's foot. With this lie and chance encounter, Sloane becomes the nanny for the wealthy and privileged Jay and Violet Lockhart, the perfect New York couple with a brownstone, a daughter in private school, and summers on Block Island. But maybe Sloane isn't the only one lying, and all that's picture perfect harbors a much more dangerous truth. Ooh, that does sound interesting. Oh, careful what you lie for. No content warnings. Actually, that does sound really interesting. It's a debut as well. Our Infinite Fates is the next one by Laura Steven. It's a fantasy. I have looked at this book as kind of my upcoming 2025 like anticipated stuff, so I am excited about this. Let's see. 2 souls are bound by a curse in this enemies to lovers to enemies, shall I continue, journey through infinite lives. Ugh, I don't know. This sounds like exactly the kind of book I would love. I don't know. I'm excited. LGBTQ plus themes, non-linear timeline, romanticy, and salacious. Let's see the synopsis. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. Evelyn remembers all her past lives. She also remembers that in every single one, she's been murdered before her 18th birthday by Arden, a supernatural being whose soul and survival is tethered to hers. Before 18? That's sad. Oh, so is this kind of YA too? The problem is that she's quite fond of the life she's in now, and her little sister needs her for bone marrow transplants in order to stay alive. If Evelyn wants to save her sister, she'll have to 1. Find the centuries-old devil who hunts her through each life before they find her first. 2. Figure out why she's being hunted and finally break their curse. 3. Try not to fall in love with them. Again. Oh, content warnings. This book contains scenes that depict sexual assault and mentions of suicidal ideation. I don't know, I kind of like the synopsis a lot. It's kind of right up my alley. Let's see the other choices, though. So this is a literary fiction, Liquid, by Mariam Rahmani. It's also a debut. I don't know, the cover is kind of like trippy. Oh, it's in Excel. I just noticed that. Oh, that's like clever. Quick take. In this provocative, cerebral debut, a witty academic fed up with the adjunct lifestyle embarks on a plan to marry rich. This book is highbrow, not always my cup of tea, but we'll see. LGBTQ plus themes, love that. Salacious, ooh, academic and cerebral. The unnamed Iranian Indian American narrator of Liquid has always believed herself to be the smartest person in the room, and from an early age she and her best friend, a poet turned marketer named Adam, have turned their noses up at other people's riches. But 2 years after earning a PhD from UCLA, the narrator is no closer to the middle-class comfort promised to her by the prestige of her fancy, scholarship-funded education and the successes of her immigrant parents. Jokingly, Adam suggests she just marry rich. I guess that's an option. But our protagonist, whose PhD thesis compared Eastern and Western views of marriage in film and literature, takes the idea seriously. She makes a spreadsheet and outlines a goal. Okay, I love that. 100 dates with people of all genders and a marriage proposal in hand by the official start of the fall semester. What follows is a whirlwind summer packed with dating, martinis sans vermouth with the lazy scion of an East Side construction empire, board games with a butch producer who owns a house in the hills and a newly dented Porsche, a Venmo request from a socialist trust fund babe, and an evening spent dodging the halitosis of a maxillofacial surgeon from Orange County. Only a tragedy in Tehran and an overdue familiar reckoning can alter the narrator's increasingly manic trajectory and force her to confront the contradictions of her life in Los Angeles. And as doubts begin to creep in about her marriage project, it suddenly seems possible that the eligible prospect she's been looking for has been beneath her nose the entire time. Oh my God, is it going to be the friend, Adam? I kind of hate that when that happens. But I don't know. I feel like with the spreadsheets and stuff, I think it would be a really fun read for me, but I don't know if I want to like buy the book. But let's see the other option. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey, contemporary fiction, to repeat author. On a remote island, a mysterious woman is sheltered by a struggling family. Will she unite them or break them apart? Multiple viewpoints, salacious. Whoa, lots of salacious this month. Family drama and nature. A family on a remote island, a mysterious woman washed ashore, a rising storm on the horizon. Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Wow, that is really remote. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but with sea levels rising, the salts are now its final inhabitants. Until, during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. What? She's just in the water? Isolation has taken its toll on the salts, but as they nurse the woman, Rowan, back to strength. Oh, I've never heard of Rowan as a woman's name. That's interesting. It begins to feel like she might just be what they need. Rowan, long accustomed to protecting herself, starts imagining a future where she could belong to someone again. But Rowan isn't telling the whole truth about why she set out for Shearwater, and when she discovers sabotaged radios and a freshly dug grave, she realizes Dominic is keeping his own secrets. As the storms on Shearwater gather force, they all must decide if they can trust each other enough to protect the precious seeds in their care before it's too late, and if they can finally put the tragedies of the past behind them to create something new together. Oh, content warnings. This book contains mentions of suicide and sexual assault. Once There Were Wolves is her other book in Book of the Month. That sounds interesting. Again, I'm like really interested to read it, but I don't know if I want to like buy it. Last option is a memoir, Care and Feeding by Lori Woolliver. A delectable tell-all detailing the triumphs and blunders of an ambitious writer's journey through the New York City food world. Marriage Issues, New York City, Writer's Life, and Foodie. I'm not super interested in this. In this moving, hilarious, and insightful memoir, Lori Woolliver traces her path from a small-town childhood to working at revealed restaurants and food publications, alternately bolstered and overshadowed by 2 of the most powerful men in the business. But there's more to the story than the 2 bold-faced names on her resume, Mario Batali and Anthony Bourdain. Oh. Behind the scenes, Lori's life is frequently chaotic, an often pleasurable buffet of bad decisions at which she frequently overstays her welcome. Acerbic and wryly self-deprecating, I don't know why I can't talk right now, Lori attempts to carve her own space as a woman in this world that is by turns toxic and intoxicating. Lori seeks to try it all, from a seedy Atlantic City strip club to the Park Hyatt Tokyo, from a hippie vegetarian co-op to the legendary El Bulli, while balancing her consuming work with her sometimes ambivalent relationship to marriage and motherhood. As the food world careens toward an overdue reckoning and Lori's mentors face their own high-profile descents, she is confronted with the questions of where she belongs and how to hold on to the parts of her life's work that she truly values, care and feeding. Oh, this book contains scenes that depict sexual assault. Yeah, I'm not super interested though in like the food world, but that sounds interesting. I don't know. I think Liquid could be really good. Our Infinite Fates, that's what I'm leaning towards still, like buying. But I am mostly interested in the rest of these. Let's look at the add-ons. New and recent add-ons. Okay. So there's Oathbound, which I knew that was coming out. I haven't read the other ones. This is book 3 of the Legendborn cycle. It's young adult by Tracy Dion. I did not read the other two, so I'm not super interested in this. So if you're interested in the synopsis, you can pause here, but I'm gonna skip that. Jane and Dan at the End of the World. Okay, by Colleen Oakley, contemporary fiction. I have been looking at this as well for this year. A struggling couple's date might take a shock. Ugh, let's start over. Why can't I talk today? A struggling couple's date night takes a shocking turn. Will they save their lives, or harder yet, their marriage? Multiple viewpoints, quirky, graphic violence. Oh wow, marriage issues. Jane and Dan have been married for 19 years, but Jane isn't sure they're going to make it to 20. The mother of two feels unneeded by her teenagers, and her writing career has screeched to an unsuccessful halt. Her one published novel sold under 500 copies. Worse, she's pretty sure Dan is cheating on her. When the couple goes to renowned upscale restaurant La Fin du Monde to celebrate their anniversary, Jane thinks it's as good a place as any to tell Dan she wants a divorce. Wow. But before they even get to the second course, an underground climate activist group bursts into the dining room. That's interesting. Jane is shocked, and not just because she's in a hostage situation, the likes of which she's only seen in the movies. Nearly everything the disorganized and bumbling activists say and do is right out of the pages of her failed book. That's crazy. Even Dan, who Jane wasn't sure even read her book, admitted it's eerily familiar. Which means Dan and Jane are the only ones who know what's going to happen next, and they're the only ones who can stop it. This wasn't what Jane was thinking of when she said "till death do us part" all those years ago, but if they can survive this, maybe they can survive anything, even marriage. I don't know, this sounds really interesting. Oh, how is there graphic violence, but there's no, like, content warnings? But that does sound really interesting. I don't know if I will buy it. I might just read it from the library. Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall is a historical fiction. Let's see. Small town secrets meet a years-long love triangle in this harrowing historical drama of murder, envy, and deceit. Nonlinear timeline, puzzle, forbidden love, and rugged. The farmer is dead. He is dead, and all anyone wants to know is who killed him. Beth and her gentle, kind husband Frank are happily married, but their relationship relies on the past staying buried. But when Beth's brother-in-law shoots a dog going after their sheep, Beth doesn't realize that the gunshot will alter the course of their lives. For the dog belonged to none other than Gabriel Wolfe, the man Beth loved as a teenager, the man who broke her heart years ago. Gabriel has returned to the village with his young son Leo, a boy who reminds Beth very much of her own son, who died in a tragic accident. Oh. As Beth is pulled back into Gabriel's life, tensions around the village rise and dangerous secrets and jealousies from the past resurface, this time with deadly consequences. Beth is forced to make a choice between the woman she once was and the woman she has become. Oh, content warnings. This book contains a scene depicting the death of a child. That does sound sad. I guess it does say Broken Country, so that makes sense. I'm not super interested in that one. Let's see. Deep Cuts debut by Holly Brickley, contemporary fiction. I like the cover a lot. Cue the 2000s nostalgia. Oh my god. And gear up for a melodic coming of age journey following two music diehards. Oh no, Y2K 2000s. Oh, that was 25 years ago now. Okay. Movie-ish friends to lovers, not always my favorite, and music, of course. Look, the song whispered to me that day in my living room. Life can be so big. It's a Friday night in a campus bar in Berkeley, fall of 2000, and Percy Marks is pontificating about music again. Hall & Oates is on the jukebox, and Percy, who has no talent for music, just lots of opinions about it, can't stop herself from overanalyzing the song, indulging what she knows to be her most annoying habit. But something is different tonight. The guy beside her at the bar, fellow student Joe Morrow, is a songwriter, and he could listen to Percy talk all night. Oh. Joe asks Percy for feedback on one of his songs, and the results kick off a partnership that will span years, ignite new passions in them both, and crush their egos again and again. Is their collaboration worth its cost, or is it holding Percy back from finding her own voice? Moving from Brooklyn bars to San Francisco dance floors, Deep Cuts examines the nature of talent, obsession, belonging, and above all, our need to be heard. That sounds nice. Any content warnings? Let's see. Nope. Yeah, that's not super my thing, but that sounds like a nice read. And last recent add-on that was added is a romance. Promise Me Sunshine by Kara Baston. Have tissues on hand for this tear-jerking and uplifting read about finding love and connection after grief. Oh, this sounds sad. Emotional. Female friendships like that. Salacious. Another salacious. New York City. I'm not in the mood for emotional still. But let's see the synopsis. Lenny's a bit of a mess at the moment. Ever since cancer stole away her best friend, she has been completely lost. Oh, wow. She's avoiding her concerned parents, the apartment she shared with her best friend, and the ever-laminated live again list of things she's promised to do to survive her grief. But maybe if she acts like she has it all together, no one will notice she's falling apart. The only gigs she can handle right now are temporary babysitting jobs, and she just landed a great one, helping overworked single mom Reese and her precocious daughter Ansley. The only catch, Ainsley's uncle, Miles, always seems to be around and is kind of a walking version of the grumpy cat meme. I love that. Worse, he seems to be able to see right through her. Surprisingly, Miles knows a lot about grief, and he offers Lenny a proposition. He'll help her complete everything on her live again list if she'll help him connect with Ainsley and overcome his complicated relationship with Reese. Lenny doubts anything can fill the void her best friend has left behind, but between late night ferry rides, midnight ramen, and a well placed shoulder whenever she needs it, Miles just won't stop showing up for her. Turns out, sometimes your life has to end to find your new beginning. That does sound cute. Oh, other ones? Ready or Not by her. That does sound really cute. It sounds really sad as well. So I'm not sure I can do that. I'm definitely going to buy Watermoon because since I missed February box, I didn't get it here, and I actually have not seen it in the stores. So I'm definitely going to buy that. For my book, I don't know, I'm leaning towards Infinite Fate still. Liquid sounds really fun, but I would maybe read that from the library. The other two, I'm not too sure. I could pick one of these member favorites, which the Wishing Game I have been looking at as well, but that's pretty old at this point, and I could get it at the library. But let me know what you're picking if you have Book of the Month. Let me know if these member faves options are the same for you, or maybe they're like curated somehow per person. But yeah, that will do it for this month. I will see you again next month for April.